Don't need that window. That's just going to confuse me. Okay.
It's always funny, like the silence before we go live.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
And we're live, everybody. Live on my channel. What is going on? Hello, my fellow vapers. I haven't done that in a while.
I haven't done that in a while either.
Yeah. I love that. That's one of the best intros ever, man. That's just,
Thanks, man.
That's just freaking classic.
That was fun. That was fun, yeah.
I remember doing that back when I was doing reviews. I would start videos sometimes like that. And I would do the vaping with fResh 03 has returned.
Yeah.
Do that.
I mean,
one
everybody
too.
needs to have a tagline, right? When you're doing reviews, you have to have something that's.
I would just steal everybody else's. Like I've got no shame, Dimitri. Like I totally stole my outro from Felicia Day. So
yeah. The finger pointing was good. I like that. That was my thing, and then it just kind of caught on. But it actually kind of started with my first videos were I used to play classical music. This is back in 2012. My first videos, I used to play classical music in the background, and I did it because at the time there were not many reviewers, like a handful of reviewers, but there were a lot of younger reviewers, like in their 20s and all that, and I just didn't feel they connected to that 40-year-old crowd that I was at the time, trying to go through the journey of quitting smoking. So I wanted to attract more older people to the channel. So I started playing classical music in the background. And I was like, "Hello, my fellow vapers." Just kind of, be like a little bit more, mature, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it all kind of started. Yeah, it's crazy.
A little bit mature, a little bit more mature, more personable, I think.
Yes. Trying to make something out of it. And honestly, I really enjoyed doing the reviews back in those days. And obviously quickly I ran into Phil and we became best buddies. So it was just that process, that evolution of vaping, because the technology really from 2011, when variable voltage came out, to 2015, that 4-year span, the technology just moved 1,000 miles a minute. So it was just a great time to be reviewing product, doing R&D in the background. Not a lot of people knew that, we used to get these products ahead of time and tested them out, gave our feedback back to China. They would change stuff before they put it out. Now they put it out and they let the people buy it, and then they change it. So they don't care anymore.
Yeah. Let's update let's update this firmware that was complete garbage.
Exactly,
and then,
right. Or version 2, version 3, version 4, and people continue to buy them, chasing the dragon. But it wasn't like that in the early days. It was just really such an enjoyable time to be around, pioneering this movement of getting away from cigarettes. It was definitely different times, and it's definitely times that both me and Phil miss a lot. We talk about the golden age a lot, and
I mean, it was the Wild West. I mean, even when I started reviewing back in, I think someone told me it was like 2014, 2013, somewhere in there. Like even when I did it, like a product really had to stand out to get a good review off of people. And so, I mean, you would review an atomizer, and you're like, post spin, it's no good.
Yeah,
not worth your time, everybody. And
also, it wasn't that mainstream either, so people depended on the reviews because you couldn't touchy-feely everything that was on the market, right? So now you can pretty much, get everything. Plus, the prices have come down so much. There's a variety of product, so people just buy it. One of my biggest pet peeves right before I stopped reviewing was people would buy something and then they would make a post on Facebook. Hey guys, I bought this. What can you tell me about it? Well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have bought it until you asked that question. But things are like 20, 30, 40 bucks, 50 bucks. People just buy them, and then depending on how much money they have spent, they want to defend that decision no matter how good or bad the device is. So I would look at reviews today in 2021. I would say for the last 3 years, I would look at them as presentations more than reviews. Nobody really reviews products anymore. Yeah. They open up the box, they use it, they do a video, and then you get to see what's in it and how it comes together. People don't spend, we used to spend 2-3 weeks on each product with Phil. I think Phil still does a week now for evaluation of his product, which, I mean, there's people putting out 6 videos a week.
Yeah.
And the fuck are you gonna test out 6 products a week? It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, it's okay that that's the way that it is now, as long as people understand that these are presentations and they're not true reviews anymore.
Yeah. Like that's the reason I stopped reviewing. Like I got the last product I got, the company started getting real pushy and they're like, we want the review. And I was like, I told you when you sent this to me, it's 2 weeks. You're bugging me the day that you saw it's delivered, that you want the review. Like that's not who I am. Like if I'm gonna say something about this, I'm gonna try and melt it down to slag before I put something out about it.
Correct.
You know, and then.
And
That was it.
Like
that's the majority of reviews now. Like they get it out of the back of the truck, they slap some batteries in it, make sure it functions okay, and then that's it.
Right. It's definitely a business side now, just as a lot of YouTube is. It's not just the vaping industry. Let's not kid ourselves and just blame the. There's people that do this for a living, and just like there's YouTuber gamers, people that do unboxings, people that do electronics. It's the same type of deal. I think our community is a little bit more like drama driven. Like they really like the drama that goes behind it as well too sometimes. And I think that really attracts people. And then the camaraderie of the cliques, you have cliques in vaping, it's this crowd over here and this crowd over here and this group of reviewers here and this group of reviewers here. And then they like when there's like a little turmoil going on. It keeps things interesting and it doesn't make it boring. But I think at the end of the day, even the biggest sellouts, if you want to call that, and vape, I don't really call them sellouts. I mean, they're just business people. Even the biggest business people in vaping, I think they all want to help people quit smoking. And I think if you always have that in the back of your mind, no matter what you do, if you're making money in the industry, if you're advocating for the industry, if you're volunteering for the industry, no matter what you're doing, as long as you have that in the back of your mind, I think everybody can get along.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
you see that when something comes up, like somebody has a loss or something like that, then everybody gathers together, and anything that you think is going on kind of gets pushed to the side for a while, But
I agree with that.
Yeah. So it's been. I mean, I've always kind of prided myself on being nice to everybody, and I hope that everybody thinks that that's the case. But I've always been able to bounce around between all the different cliques and say hi to people and.
Yeah, I'm sure people talk shit about you behind your back.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. I mean, it happens all. People talk shit about me in front of my face still to this day. But you have to have a thick skin, and again, you have to have the ultimate goal. And what is this mission that you had since day one, and follow it. And nobody can look back at me and Phil's career and say that we changed mission. So our mission has always been the smoker, right? From day one, we never veered off of that. But we did get into the business. We did get into the industry. I did get into it politically as well too, and have been advocating since 2014. But no matter what all that goes around it is, that our mission is the same. So as long as your mission is the same, everything else that goes around, the little drama. The only difference between Dimitri in 2021 and in 2016, for example, is that 2016 I was very, very quiet. Now I'll just tell you to go fuck yourself. Like I don't really care anymore.
That's fair. Every once in a while, someone deserves a good old go fuck yourself.
Yeah. You push my buttons the wrong way, then it's on. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's a public forum. I just don't care anymore. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
all these years living in a house of all girls.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. But yeah, to be fair, I grew up in a house of all girls, so I'm kind of used to being surrounded. But it's been tough this year because I'm here constantly. So for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been me and Phil travel 120, 130,000 miles a year. We visit usually 14 to 18 countries a year, and this year we've been stuck at home, so it's been rough. It really, at least I can take my break, for a week, and I have to go somewhere and I come back, it's okay. But I'm not having those breaks anymore. So yeah, it's been rough with all this testosterone. And these girls are getting older now. My girls are 14 and 18. When I started vaping, my little one was just a baby, and they grew up within this community as well too, So yeah, they're turning into young ladies now. So it's
investing in shotgun ammo then. Got it.
Yes, I have a couple of weapons too. I'm nice and quiet, but I do have a couple of weapons.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
we need to
my
put the
youngest is 18. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
we need to put the processions on hold. We've got a birthday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I saw that.
Luke Loop. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday, you custard slinging bastard. Damn you and your delicious recipes. Happy birthday to you.
Crazy Nixon.
Anybody who likes vanilla custards, go check out what Luke Loop's been up to. He is quite the master. I believe I've got one shot of his sitting around here somewhere. I've got lots of one shots. I gotta.
Yellow matter custard is still one of my favorites.
There it is. Luke Loop. Which one is this? Yep, yellow matter.
Yeah,
Yellow matter
that was
custard.
awesome.
Yeah. Delicious. DIYFlavorchaser.com. Go check out Luke Loop's one shots.
The
You can check out
DIYers
mine while you're there. What's up, brother?
The DIYers have like specialties. Like this guy, it's just like, in the motorcycle world, this guy is known for, exhaust. This guy is known for tires. Is it the same thing in the DIY community?
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I'm known for shaking vapes and yogurts.
I am now known for shaken vapes and using really, really thick cream combinations. I've called myself the cream queen.
Wow. That's a great name.
It is.
Yep.
She's embraced it wholeheartedly too.
Yeah, she seemed very proud when she announced her title.
Yeah,
Michelle Hughes is known for vanilla pudding. She puts vanilla pudding in everything, but usually works out. That's right, Kristen. That is what I go for. If your dogs aren't howling, I'm not doing my job here on this show.
That's right.
And I can't let Fresh sing alone, so I gotta get in my little drunken Muppet sound too.
There we go.
Apparently, I'm the alcoholic of the group.
Oh, me and Larry are gonna get along just fine.
Yeah, Larry's we call him the deadliest mixer in the galaxy because you tell him, hey, we're doing this tonight, and he's got 12 recipes like 10 minutes later, and then they all contain booze. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I was happy to hear you still have your poker game.
Yeah, that's another thing. I've been having this game at my house for over 10 years now, every Monday night, and it's been like the same kind of like base nucleus of players, and then people come and go all the time. It's a tough game to hang out and do it constantly. But yeah, every Monday night, 7:00, and this was the reason I couldn't be on the Wendy show on Monday. I'd love to hang out with Wendy. I've always admired her and I like her. So yeah. It's fun. It's my stress relief. Especially now with these cold days, I can't get on the bike. Poker is a fun night for us here. Just kind of forget about everything, have a few scotches, and play and hopefully win.
I always love the Instagram posts, now because then you bought the neon poker table. And
yeah, that was my wife's birthday gift last year or
That's
the year
Connie,
before.
right, Connie?
Yeah.
Is it Connie?
Connie, yeah. She bought me a BBO table from California. It has like little neon lights around it. It's pretty
nice.
Cool. Yeah, it's fun. So I put it down here in my vape layer in the basement, and so I have everything now around me here. So everything's within reach.
Yeah, I don't play nowhere near as much as I used to, but I used to deliver a lot of food service before I got in car hauling. So I'm going back 20 years ago. And my Friday run was always delivering a lot of pizza shops in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew what pizza shops had their lunch rush when they didn't want the truck being delivered, but they also had a game in the basement.
Yep.
So I was getting paid $26 an hour and hitting 4 or 5 poker games on a Friday. So they were wondering why it would take me 12, 13 hours to do a run that should have taken like 9, but then I'd come back with $1,000 in my pocket and look, dock me, I don't care.
Probably a lot of those were probably Greek as well too. It's funny because I was in the restaurant business for over 20 years before I got into the vaping industry, and the restaurant that I was at, the Portofino's, before we sold it a few years ago, before we had it was a gondolier, and the owners were a couple of Greek guys, and they'd have poker games there at night. One day, I heard these stories after we took over, but one day the staff got there in the morning at 9:30, and the door was locked. They were still playing inside from the night before. So yeah, that probably happens a lot,
Just
especially.
piled up this high.
Well, you have cash in the service industry, so you know everybody's a little gambler, you know.
Yeah, yeah. My brother was. They called him the mayor of South Philly, and when he was alive, he had a game, and I went to it a few times, and the people that were there, some of them, very high-ranking political figures, media members, athletes. I mean, this was, games where there'd be nothing for someone to drop, $200,000-$300,000 in a night. And I would just sit back and watch and just like, yeah, I don't have it to get into these games, but just seeing the people there, it's like, wow, it's like they didn't want to go to Atlantic City. They'd rather hang out in the city and play with with their own kind, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's been my dream to go play at the WSOP in Vegas, and this year my wife gave me permission to go. If they're gonna have it, I don't know, due to COVID, they might not have it. So I don't know. I might just go play some satellites and see if I can win a seat or something, and play it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine that I grew up with. He satellited in, and he went out there, lasted one hand, and he had a full house, and got beat with quads by Jennifer Harmon.
That's a bad beat. But I mean, that would be my fear too, like going out like first or going out in the bubble or something like that. But I just want to experience it one time. I'm a pretty good tournament player, so I mean, I know I have the skills. It's just like the nervousness of playing with 5,000 people. I think it would be just really cool, But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can win the whole thing, and then maybe we can do some big PR campaign for vaping. Use a couple of the couple million of the proceeds to do some ads. Last year, me and Matt Cully and Brent Stafford had developed a PR plan. Actually, a year and a half ago. It took us about 6 months of work to create a company like PAVE or Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, but for the vaping industry, right?
Yes.
So the campaign was called The Whole Truth, which is taking a spin off from the Truth campaign of our opposition. And we talked to campaign managers, we talked to ad agencies, we talked to media buyers, we talked to networks, and we came up with this 9-week PR plan that was about $1.9 million, which, if you think about it, is not a lot of money. I mean, for a 9-week mainstream media campaign, meaning having ads on CNN and on OWN and on various networks, like 53 cable channels, I think was the package, over 9 weeks, and close to 5,300 commercials. Now, granted, some of those would run in the off of peak, but it was a good combination. But we had come up with these various scenario commercials. For example, one of them was based on truth or false, like can you see the Chinese wall from space? And if somebody says false, then you say, well, it's the same thing as vaping. They tell you it's just as bad as smoking, and it's false. That's just one premise, for example, and then the commercial plays out. For more information, go to the Whole Truth website, and then everything that we had was scientifically accurate and couldn't be disputed. So the network said, if you can back up your claims, then you are allowed to run it. But unfortunately, we couldn't get the funding. We were this close to getting the funding from a couple of companies that backed out last minute. And I can only look back at that now and say, well, if we ran this a couple of years ago, would be in a better spot today. Meaning, if we started it for 9 weeks and it went well, then maybe other companies would join in and put more money into it. Just kind of like
keep it rolling.
Pharmaceutical companies are giving money now, the big tobacco company monies are giving now. So, and would we at least change the perception of the people? And we missed a golden opportunity too, because I think a lot of people have lost their trust in the government with this COVID thing here in the United States. So this was the perfect opportunity for us to even use COVID as an example. We could easily run an ad that says, do you believe your government about COVID and the way that they do COVID? And the majority of people are going to say no. Then we would say, well, you shouldn't believe them about vaping either, because they're lying to you. So we had these great opportunities, but unfortunately we couldn't get it funded. I was very, very disappointed in that. And it's me and Phil are writing this book, which we started last year, and it's probably going to be published after we exit from the industry because it's going to piss off a lot of people. But the book's called The Rise and Fall of Vaping, and we spend a good chapter on this particular opportunity that came about, and the entire detailed work of what that could possibly have had, turned out to be. And it's really, really disappointing that we couldn't get it funded. Like most good things in this industry, is very, very hard to get funded.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if vaping will ever be a true cautionary tale, but I mean, if it is, then, I think the bunches of us that'll be still sitting in our basements just, DIYing and going out and finding guitar strings to wrap around things.
Sure.
Those of us that know will be like, man, we missed it. We really missed out. Really missed out on this. And, like we were talking about before the show, I mean, things are looking, relatively grim at this point. There's still some hope. So, yeah, I mean, everybody just because things look a little grim and things are kind of heading downhill doesn't mean we should stop by any means. But there's always a chance. Always a chance.
I agree. I think that, we have, again, another opportunity with an administration that's coming in, whether you're Republican or Democrat. That's none of my concern. I don't get involved in the political game. But
yeah,
we do have an administration that's coming in that has said multiple times, me and Phil are working on something. We'll see it here in the next week. But we do have an administration that's coming in that says we are going to lead with science. Biden has said it multiple times. The Democratic Party has said it multiple times. So we have an opportunity, if we have the right people in place, to at least try to approach the new leadership at HHS and FDA eventually when they appoint somebody, and say the primary goal of this administration is to make decisions based on science. And you can't, and you can say that, well, every politician says that, yeah, but they have gone on the record due to the COVID thing again. So this is again an opportunity that we have to say that if you're going to make those decisions on science based on COVID, you have to do the same thing with a product that's going to save 500,000 Americans a year that die from smoking. Because smoking is just as bad, if not worse, than the current state of the pandemic or COVID is here in the United States. So yeah, it's nothing is lost. And we also have to protect the states. I'm going strong again in 2021 with the Tennessee Smoke-Free Association, and we're fighting the bills here to keep Tennessee vape negative bill law free. So yeah, we have to keep pushing. But the reality is that vaping will never be where it was in 2012 and 2013 when these brick and mortars were popping up and helping people quit smoking. For various reasons and a million reasons, but it's never going to get there. We slowly have to build back up. We talk about this at the Smoker Show all the time with Phil, is we have to go back to what we did those days, and that is to talk to our friend and explain to them what vaping is. And boots on the ground, grassroots movement of one person at a time, trying to help your friend, your family member, your cousin, your aunt, to quit smoking with, not with 3 milligram, staggered stapper Clapton coils or whatever, help them with the right equipment, the right nicotine strength, and the right advice and explanation to what the government has done to vaping in America. And I think that the closeness that you have with that friend or that family member, that trust, you need to build on that and try to help one person at a time to quit smoking and go back to the basics. Tight draw, high nicotine stuff, simple flavor stuff that did it for us back then, and it helped literally millions of people quit smoking back then, and we got away from that. There's no denying that between 2016 and 2018 we got away. It was 3 milligram sweetened, whatever flavor of the week was, donut one week, ice cream the next week, yogurt the next week, whatever it was. And these people were going to the vape shops and they were getting sold $120, $130 setups with RTAs with holes, like my butthole on them, and they would take them home and they wouldn't be satisfied, and they gave up on it because that's not how you convert. You need to get to the point to enjoy vaping like we enjoy it, you need to quit smoking first. And the products that they were given were not. So yeah, the DIY community obviously has a great advantage to that, because you can make a simple tobacco, you can make a simple cherry, right? You know, I have 3 stores in Greece, and you know, I have older folks that come to my shops, and if I tell them, you know, oh, how about this, you know, this cheesecake with 3 layers of graham crust topped with vanilla swirl, and they look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just want to quit smoking. I'm not in a bakery, you know. I'm not trying to order dessert or a pie for my wife.
Do you have any baklava?
Yeah, they just want like, I just want, you know, a strawberry. That's it, just a strawberry flavor, right? I guarantee you walk in 90% of the vape shops today in America, you're not going to find a simple strawberry flavor.
No,
you're not. You're going to find strawberry jam. You're going to find strawberry cake. You're going to find strawberry milkshake. You're going to find strawberry cheesecake, but you're not going to find a simple strawberry. But that's where the DIY community has an advantage and can help a lot of people, friends like that, to quit. Simple tobacco, simple fruit, get them started with the right device. And then once they quit smoking, let them go on their journey, man. They want to go and start building, you know, bada bing, bada boom, like Phil said, you know, staggered coils. Let him do it, absolutely, but quit first. You know.
Yeah. I have a quick question. How many times did you get killed in that video?
Just one, thankfully.
Just the one. Just the one. I was wondering if there was any cuts. I was wondering if there were any death cuts.
Just one. I wish I was down there able to help him shoot that, but it was just a great idea, and he did it very well. And again, I'm shocked. Like, the video has like 5,000 views. I was like, it's a 4-minute video. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, I don't understand why people are not sharing it. It's got such a deep meaning to it. Yeah. It's funny, right? It's funny, but it's the truth as well too. Yeah. Like, you know, what he's saying in there is grim, but it's the reality of where we are. And it's an opportunity for people to laugh a little bit, and then they just think to themselves, man, you know, yeah, how many people have lost their jobs? How many people have gone back to smoking? Because it's true. It's happened a lot.
It's very true.
The last couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, I've been sharing it as much as I can, and damn, Phil's got a nice place. Holy crap!
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's moved to Florida with all the senior citizens now. And, yeah, that's where he belongs. But yeah, I love his place. I love cooking in his kitchen every time I go, and yeah.
I'm sure Phil misses Dino Barbecue though up in Rochester.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I've had this conversation with him multiple times. Yeah, there's things that you do miss from back home, but he wouldn't change it. He loves it down there. He loves the weather. You know, he's a tan guy. He likes to go out in the sun all the time. And
I just imagine him hanging out in that pool all the time.
Yeah, he's very, very comfortable, and he's happy, and he likes it down there. And yeah, of course, if you know, mom's cooking, or, you know, that place in the corner that's been there for 100 years that serves that hoagie, that's crazy, you know. Of course, that I think that happens to everybody when they move, but he's happy there. He likes it. Yeah. I personally don't. I mean, I like Florida to go for like a week, you know, but I can't stand the heat like constantly.
I can't either.
You know, it's just too hot.
Yeah.
It's
I like hanging out with him down there for a while, but then I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's like it's like a damp hair dryer.
yeah, that's exactly.
But a golf cart review yesterday, that was awesome.
Yeah, and that's another thing that he told me. He was like, I'm gonna go back and do some of the, you know, the vintage Basardo, some of the stuff that you know, what we built our name on, and we got plans to do some more funny stuff together. But I think it's needed now in this community that's, you know, struggling with bad news on a daily basis. We need to have, and I think if you look at, again, most of the reviewers, it's just business. It's like boom, I got to put this video on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. You know, that's how the payment schedule goes, right? Mm-hmm. So it's nice to be able to throw in some stuff that people will watch just for the entertainment value. Even juice reviews, I don't think people really look at juice reviews now and say, well, Phil likes it, I'm going to buy it. I don't think that happens, but you get a good description of what the flavor is, and you laugh a little bit, you know, a little entertaining. It's good, and it passes some time, especially now that we're stuck at home with COVID.
Right. Yeah. And I just put the link in chat because, you know, Phil and Dimitri, they're looking for people to bring the smokers into the smoker show. So the link's in chat there. So if you guys know anybody who's, you know, who you want to get quit, bring them on to the show.
Yeah, in 2020, we gave out about, I want to say 35 kits over the year. People called in and we try to help them out. And, this past show, Tuesday, we had a couple of people call in and it got really emotional. Like one guy is just like almost cried on the phone. We helped him and his wife with kits. And then they got their kids off cigarettes, and now they've expanded like their 6 family members, and usually those new vapors are so passionate,
Yeah.
they just quit and they can't believe it, and they want to help other people as well too. But the success of the show, I mean, we love when vapors come and hang out with us and we have a chat. But the success of the show is how do we get new people to look at it and say, well, vaping is not as bad as people are telling us it is. There's something going on here. And then if we can send out some liquid and some kits to people to try out, then we're more than happy to do that, even though it's illegal, but we don't really care because unjust law should not be followed. And that's my philosophy. But yeah, we try to get people to call in. Then the reason why we want them to call in is because we want to ask them questions and get to know them and decide what's going to be the best setup for them. And also we like it because maybe, they'll call back, like quite a few have, and tell us their experience, after 2 weeks or after a month, they quit, did they not quit? Are they dual using? What didn't they like about the setup so we can improve? Oh, it was leaking, or I didn't like the flavor, it was too strong, I coughed, right? And then maybe we can send them something else, right? And try to stay on top of them, give them that support. Via telephone, it's so much better. Sometimes I get some people, it's like, oh, message me like, hey, can you send a kit to this person? It's not going to work. It's, I can send you the best device in the world. If you don't have the support that goes along with it, I mean, Addie, you're old school. You remember back in the day, we used to get into stick cam rooms and ask a question. It's like, man, I can't get this to work. What's wrong? And then everybody would jump on and get this support group would be there for you anytime that you needed it. If you just hand somebody a device and say, here, go vape, it's just not going to work. It's not that kind of product.
I actually had something similar like that happen recently. There was somebody that saw me vaping and they're like, hey, I would like to quit smoking. And they're like, can you just link me some vape stuff? And I was like, well, have you tried it? And they're like, well, I've tried one of those blue things. And I was like, what was your issue with the blue? And he's like, I didn't like the flavor and the airflow was too restricted. And I was like, well, there we go. I have a setup that I could probably send you and get you started. And ever since then, he's been like, okay.
Yeah. You have to have that conversation with them to know, what kind of cigarettes do they smoke? How long have they been smoking? How dependent they are on nicotine? Where do they work? That's very, very important as well too. Once you get all those questions answered, you can kind of guide them correctly what you want to give them for that first setup, and then follow up as well too. Because if you don't follow up, I think a lot of people feel kind of embarrassed, especially if you give them a free kit and it doesn't work and you don't hear from them. Or you might see them a month later and they're holding the cigarette like, oh, I didn't charge my device. They'll answer you something like that. So follow up is really important. We do this thing in Greece where our new customers, we get them to fill out a form and then they bring it back after a week and they get a discount. And we don't do it really to, for the discount. We do it for them to come back in and talk to the clerk face to face, and then the clerk asks them the question, hey, how was it this week? Oh, you had a couple of cigarettes? That's okay, take your time, whatever. Let's see what you need to up your nicotine, lower your nicotine. Try to make some quick adjustments in that first week to try to get them the best chance that they have in succeeding in quitting smoking.
Hey, Dimitri, we had grape leaves for lunch, and then we had meat pies and spinach pies for dinner with some pita bread.
That's fantastic. Who made the grape leaves? Did you make them? Or did you buy them?
It's like a semi-local Lebanese bakery.
Fantastic. That sounds great. I made grape leaves last week for the girls.
I saw that my wife was drooling when I showed her the picture.
But they are a pain in the ass. I mean, if you want to make them good, it's a 4 or 5 hour process, but they came out fantastic. The girls loved them. So
you gotta get the leaves when they're just right, and then flash freeze them and pack them just right.
Absolutely. And cooking them is you have to wrap them tightly so they don't open when they're cooking. And I cook them with lamb shanks on the bottom, and get a good broth going, and then make a lemon cream sauce to put on top. Delicious.
Sounds fancy.
That sounds wonderful.
I wanted to tell you that before I forgot.
I
Oh,
appreciate
that's
it.
like my wife broke her hand Christmas Eve. She was still sober when it happened. She didn't start drinking yet. So I've been doing a lot of cooking the weekends that I'm home. And she's like, before you used to just cook everything and be kind of bland, but since you started vaping and mixing, getting into flavors, your stuff has a lot more flavor now.
Nice.
Good job.
Well, then
I love cooking. I love
the
cooking for other
Instapot's
people.
amazing. I love the
I don't like cooking for myself, but I love cooking for other people and then watching them enjoy it. I mean, so
That's
many
what
years
I
in the
am,
restaurant
too.
business, obviously, but it really gives me great satisfaction when I cook and my girls like the food and they eat it. That's just nothing tops that.
Yeah, I remember it was when I think was it Dario over here in Winston-Salem? Someone had passed away. I think you had commented.
Oh, you
on
live
it.
in Winston-Salem?
I live in Kernersville.
Oh, I was born in Winston-Salem. You know that, right? I lived in
Oh.
Winston-Salem. Oh, God, yeah. I lived in Winston-Salem since before I came to Chattanooga. In 23, 24. I used to have a restaurant in Greensboro on Bessemer Avenue. And I had a
nice.
girlfriend in Kernersville. There was a stripper. She worked at, she worked
That
at
explains a
True
lot.
story. I'm not lying. I mean, yeah. My sister still lives in Greensboro, so we come up with.
Yeah, I moved down here from South Jersey in 2012. So.
That's a big move.
Oh yeah, I did it
From
for work
Southville
though.
to Kernersville. That's a big move.
Well, you know where the big Norfolk Southern Rail Yard is in Walkertown.
Yeah,
where all the cars come in.
Of course.
Well, yeah, that's where I was working out of and still living in Jersey. So I was going home like once a month.
Yeah.
And I talked the wife into leaving and coming down here, and it's been great. And then once we bought a house, Honda decided, oh, we're not going to use that rail yard anymore. We're going to move everything down to Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm going to. So now I leave on Monday. Usually get home Saturday, but this week things are slow right now. So
yeah,
I was
that's
home about
okay. I
2:00,
mean,
6:00.
obviously, it's better quality of living down there.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no doubt about it. But well, I like Winston-Salem a lot, and so
yeah, I was there today.
Yeah, I happened to be born there, but my father died when I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
So we moved back to Greece, but I was the only one in my family that was born in the States, and I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So yeah.
Nice.
Small
At
world.
Baptist, or was that Wake Forest Baptist you were born in, or?
I was born in my mind stopped. The big hospital that's right across from Haynes Mall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's now Novant Health, but yeah.
Yeah, before it was called something else.
Yeah.
I want to say Forsyth, but
Probably Forsyth Medical Center, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there were a bunch of them too.
Or Forsyth Memorial. I don't know what it was called, but yeah,
It might have been something like that back then, yeah.
Yeah. Small world. And but yeah, and I know Kernersville very well. Like I said, I dated this girl for about 6 months, wore me out.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure you don't know any of the strip clubs there, but
No, not at all.
sure
No,
you don't. Yeah,
yeah,
you
too
look
close
very
to
innocent.
home.
You look very innocent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, actually, my Facebook Messenger has been blowing up because I'm one of the moderators for CASA for North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And apparently now DHL is going to stop shipping vape products to residents. So they're still going to deliver to commercially, but residential they're going to stop. I'm like,
The whole
really?
thing is a mess right now. I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of chatter, but definitely we've gotten conflicting information from resellers of DHL versus contacting DHL directly.
Mm-hmm.
But usually when USPS follows, through with something, usually a lot of the carriers will follow. Today, first time ever, I got a phone call from FedEx. I got a prototype coming from Innikin, and they asked me a few questions for clearance from the FDA. This never has happened to me in in all these years. We've had issues where they'll hold it up at customs, but then a couple of days they're going to release it. But today they actually called me. So things are going to get tight when shipping, but people shouldn't panic, okay? Because this is again an unjust bullshit law that you can easily skirt around. If I send something to Addy and I mark it on their dildo, they're not going to open it up. I mean, it would be a little bit weird me sending a dildo to Addy, but it's still going to make the package go through. And ironically, in December, before I went to Greece for a couple of weeks, I ordered 4 THC pens from Vegas to take to Greece. There's a friend that has a it's kind of like MS, and this really helps him. He like 2 or 3 puffs at night before he goes to bed. So every time I go to Greece, I'll take them some. But I couldn't go to Vegas this year because of the COVID. So they shipped them to me USPS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right into my house. So if that's why I'm telling people not to panic. Just don't panic. You know, we'll figure it out just like we always do. Once the dust clears, but don't let these rumors, you know, create panic amongst the industry right now, because we just don't know how they're going to implement it. Number one, and number two, when we're talking about hardware contains no nicotine. You can market, you know, plastic tank, you know, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's like I'm seeing in the chat right now, someone's saying every time they get a mod from AliExpress, it comes saying electric car parts.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
yeah.
Electronic.
Yeah. I think
And
the
like-
big shipments from China will be, they've caught a few in Chicago and Dallas this past couple of weeks that were marked like that. So if it's a $500,000 shipment, yeah. But for a small package,
yeah, you're
ain't
gonna
gonna do nothing.
I mean, when I get stuff now from the one that has the 3 letters from China,
Yeah.
it actually comes now. It doesn't even come with a Chinese address when it comes from California, but it never sees California.
Yep.
When you follow the track, it goes through Chicago, goes to Atlanta, comes back up to Kernersville or Greensboro and Kernersville and all that. So
Yeah. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. We might have like go through. Today I posted on my Facebook of creating Uber Eats.
yeah,
But for vapor products.
Uber vapes, yeah.
Yeah, or create like a, you know, DoorDash is you can select package, and even through Uber you can do it as well too. So, you know, push comes to shove, stuff like that will happen. Third party, I do third party now for this old guy in New York. I've helped him quit smoking a couple of years ago. He quit with my products. And I feel kind of obliged to him, you know, like he'll message me. So, you know, if he wants to order something, they'll send it to me and then I'll send it to him, you know, because some companies don't ship to New York. And for the older people, it's even more difficult, man. You know, for a younger person, you know, you can mix around flavors, you know, and all that. You can, you'll find something that you can vape. But for older people, like, they panic so much because they found this one flavor that helped them quit smoking and they can't get away from it.
No.
Right. So this person,
just like they smoked for 45 years,
absolutely
the same brand of cigarettes for 45 years. So they're used to that flavor. So when they get into vaping, they find something they like and they're not going to switch from it.
Yeah. I remember that even in Greece. Now we don't have, of course, due to COVID, the vape bar. But before, when we had all the new people that came in that were older, you tell them, oh, look, you know, you can. They're like, you know, I don't even want to try them. You know, they don't even want to, you know, they want that one flavor. I want something that tastes like an ashtray. It's something that we heard all the time in Greece. So I created a tobacco line back in 2017 called Ashtray. And it has 4 tobacco flavors. It has a, you know, authentic tobacco flavor, then a caramel, an apple, and a mint. So when they come in and say, I want something like an ashtray, I just give them the ashtray. And hey, here you go. And then they get stuck on it and they don't want nothing else. Like try it. Nope. They feel like it's their comfort level. So people are panicking, man. It's a tough time, especially for those, you know, we don't think about them too often, but there's a lot of older people that vape in the United States.
But like you say, Dimitri, it's like, you know, in some of the banned states, if, you know, and you can't get your equipment or your e-liq or whatever, you know, talk to a family member or a friend. There's even a few sites now that will actually take that delivery for you, rebox it, and ship it, you know, to you.
Yeah, we basically have our own underground railroad we got to run just to you know, to make sure that the people that want to quit smoking that are in banned states that we can still get them products.
Yeah, there you go. Ed's in the chat. I sent him out in California because he couldn't get from a company here locally that makes the liquid that he likes. They wouldn't ship to California. So they just happened to be down the street. I drove over there, got some, and I sent it out to him. So yeah, that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. You know, it would be cool to create an app that you know, like an emergency app people could log into and do that. So just an idea, anybody out there that likes to dabble around and stuff like that, you know, Waffle and all those, these are all commercial sites. We're talking about a community-based app. You know, if you have to pay $1.99 a month for it, or where you pay $1.99, so it won't have any ads or anything like that. And it's just going to be a place where people connect. You know, it's there's an app for motorcycles called Tone It, and it's the same way. It's just like bikers get on there and you have your own little group in Chattanooga. It's separated by sport bikes, Harley bikes, whatever, and then you find your group and you go out there and, hey, let's have a ride tonight. And the next thing you know, like a dozen guys on motorcycles show up, and then we go hit the mountains. So the same kind of concept, but do it for vaping as well too, and not be a commercial site, but more. But you have to pay for the app, obviously, right? So there's an idea. Somebody's out there's an entrepreneur and does that. Go ahead and do it.
And I got to shout out Bill Tarling, for what he does on Taste Your Juice. He does all those advocacy posts all the time. That's amazing. Absolutely.
Bill Tarling is a great help to us. He's a very good friend, number one. And he helps us on the Smoker Show. He has developed this RSS feed where he collects pretty much every article that comes out on vaping across the world comes through his feed. And then we kind of dissect them to see what we're going to post, what we're not going to post, what we're going to share, how important it is and stuff like that. So he does that. Then he does the post on Taste Your Juice. He's been a great help to me doing research in the background. We just recently did the PAVE. I don't know if you saw the tweet that I did on it, but Parents Against Vaping Electronic Cigarettes, their 990 was filed just a few days ago. So we kind of took it apart, and the top 5 executives in PAVE make over $2.5 million a year in salary.
Yeah, saw that.
So,
I reposted it.
So if you think that PAVE really cares about your children and about about parents to protect their kids, it's absolutely wrong. It's all about
a paycheck.
Salaries. The CEO, the top head, makes $457,000 a year. So Bill was kind enough to kind of go through that data and research it and break it out in a format where we can understand it, obviously, because that's important as well. But yeah, he does a lot of stuff. So shout out to him.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to be under Bloomsburg's desk for 8 hours a day. Damn.
Yeah. Now look, I mean, for $500,000 a year, I don't think I could do Bloomberg, but you'd have to pay me. That just goes to show you how petty these people are, And it's sad that we can't be louder with this and expose it, because we share that information amongst ourselves and we all know it, but past that, it's just a bubble. It's just, I try every opportunity. I run op-eds once a month here in Tennessee in various newspapers. I've also broken out a little bit. Like, I've had some podcasts invite me on to talk about vaping that are not vaping podcasts, right? Just regular podcasts. They might not have a huge reach, right? But they're just regular podcasts. And I never decline anyone. I always try to go on there and just try to break out just a little bit, get out of this bubble and share it. But it's really unfortunate that we can't be on CNN for 4 minutes and say, oh, by the way, PAVE, this is their 990. Look where the money came from. Look how much they're getting paid. That's all you want to say. And then just put that thought in the mind of people next time that they hear PAVE to do their own research. And, look, now with COVID, man, let me tell you something. I don't want to make this political again, but this is on both sides. Now everybody's become a fucking expert. They're experts at political, campaigning. They're experts at COVID. They're experts at cryptocurrency. They're experts at the stock market, obviously, from yesterday. But people sit there and do research, and they'll find like a YouTube link and link you to it. Or so we want to do the same thing. Why don't you do it for PAVE as well? Too. You want to do PAVE? Do a little search, get the 990, post it out there, and say, hey, look, folks, this is the truth. Whether you vape or smoke, it doesn't make any difference. These are people taking advantage of the system, this non-profit horse shit that is out there that says we care about the children and we care about your
lungs and your heart.
It's bullshit. It's all about the money.
I mean, that's the thing. We're always preaching to the choir, but if we can get our message into the mainstream, and I mean, granted, it doesn't really fit their narrative most of the time, but if we can find a way to, to get something positive out there, maybe we can switch, another 50,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Even one person, in my opinion, is a win. I mean, we're up against billions of dollars, man. We're up against mountains of opposition. So any win, in my opinion, is a win. It's just another little stepping block trying to build this wall of opposition. But yeah, I agree with you, man. It would be nice. Unfortunately, the only way that you can do that is money.
Yeah.
And PR, and that's just how. I mean, we elect presidents on money and PR, right? So I mean, this is the only way to get it out there is to spend money and get like what Bloomberg is doing, and and we just simply don't have it. When we had it, we spent it on another
Lamborghinis and
Yeah.
Vape
Speaking
bottles.
of
It's
stock
a good job to be a
market,
repo man. That's for sure.
I am cracking up about that the hedge funders are complaining because they were short selling GameStop stock to drive the price down.
Yep.
A couple people on Reddit figured it out that they had it short sold by 140%. And then they got everybody to buy GameStop stock to just skyrocket the price. And now these hedge funders are out $6 billion bucks.
Mm-hmm. I love it. They got beat at their own game, and I fucking love it.
And they're complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the apps that like we can use
Yeah.
now are not letting you buy GameStop stock.
Nope.
Well, if anything, that just lets people know that it was never your money to begin with. I mean, that's the
Or that the system's always been rigged.
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely has always been rigged. But maybe it wakes up people, and I think that you should question everything. But I think some people take it to extremes. I mean, you're trying to debate with me with facts. Don't debate with me because you saw a link on some fucking crazy website, right? But I think that the research that we have on electronic cigarettes, and I'm talking about scientific research, it's mountains of evidence that this product is by magnitudes less harmful than cigarettes. There's no dispute about it. It's not a riddle. It's not a hypothesis. It's not a may, which we see a lot on the opposition. This may cause kids to smoke in the future. Like this is their whole, defense. But even though we have all this scientific data, we simply just can't get it out there. We can't get it in front of the people that need to see it. And that is the citizens of this country, for them to understand and then question their government. Because if they understand vaping is better than smoking and the government's trying to stop it, then they're going to say to themselves, well, what's going to happen when they take away my coffee, my caffeine, or what's going to happen when they take away my alcohol? When they take away my 32-ounce soda, right? So when government starts questioning it, then you are successful at it. One of the biggest influences I had in Tennessee, one of my best moments, I think, as a lobbyist and executive director of the association, was when I testified a couple of years ago at a hearing in Tennessee. We knew this bill was not going to pass, but the American Cancer Society lady wanted to speak at the committee hearing, so obviously I signed up to speak in opposition, even though we knew they didn't have enough votes to carry this bill. But when she got up and did her thing, American Cancer Society bullshit, and then I got up. And the committee room was full of people, but they were not there for vaping. There was only like 5 or 6 of us for vaping. The rest of them were there for some insurance bill, and there was another bill for somebody else. But there was like 100 people in the room. But when I got up there, I said that this law is unjust, and if I wanted to live with California laws, I would move to California. That was my, and the whole room got quiet. Because it caught their attention. They're like, well, what the fuck? I live in Tennessee. I don't want to have California laws. What is this about? Right? So it was just such a catchy tagline. I was just really, really proud of that. But that's the kind of stuff we want. We need to get the attention of those people that don't smoke, that don't vape, that the government here is corrupt and they're doing something bad. And then question in their minds, if they're doing it for vaping, what else are they doing it for?
Yep.
yeah.
Agree
I don't know how the
100%.
country's actually survived for a few weeks now without a Surgeon General, Dimitri.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's amazing how that happens. Yeah, nothing
We
made me
haven't,
more
we haven't
happy.
all died yet. I don't get it.
Yeah, probably more people are living since he's not on Twitter anymore. But yeah,
Oh,
nothing made me more
he
happy.
bailed on Twitter? What a shame.
Well, he doesn't control the Surgeon General account. The other account he blocked me, which I wear proudly that I was able to get under his skin for him to block me. But Jerome Adams was a disgrace for the previous administration, and he's caused death throughout his entire career. But for vaping, for weed, and for COVID.
Yeah.
All three of those, he failed as a surgeon general. He failed as a medical expert. He failed as a doctor, and he failed as a person. I mean,
Yes, he
people
did.
died on both sides of the. You cannot, dispute that. That is a fact, and it's documented very well by myself and Kevin Crowley and other Twitter warriors that are out there. But Murphy, when he's probably going to be the next one. He doesn't like vaping. Nobody likes vaping anyway. Nobody will get a job in those positions that likes vaping.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah.
So
isn't Murphy the one that kindly gave the
yes,
yeah,
the Billion Lives, yes,
yeah, and the Royal College of Physicians
Yes.
printout?
Yes. Maybe, and who knows? Now they're saying they're going to lead with science. Maybe he will read it. I remain optimistic with this administration until they prove me otherwise. I was optimistic with the Trump administration when they came in, especially since there was such a push through the vaping industry to elect a Republican to office because the Republicans were going to save us. So, I mean, nobody's going to save us. But the truth is that I really wanted to work with them, and I did my best. And especially the first 2 years where I was involved on a very big level on the federal side. I'm not anymore. I've stepped down from that. But back then with Sebia USA and other projects that we had going on, and we were going to DC very often talking to people, I really, really tried to work with administration, and it got us nowhere. It got us absolutely nowhere. In fact, the key positions that were filled by Trump when it comes to vaping, and it's really the two key positions is Food and Drug Administration and HHS. We had a czar, and then we had multiple seats with Gottlieb and other people rotating through the FDA. Those seats, which were very important for vaping, not only were not good for vaping, but they also backtrack. Remember, Czar said we're going to have a streamlined process for the PMTA.
Yeah,
that was horseshit. We remember that Gottlieb said, we're going to do, blah, blah, blah.
Epidemic.
Absolutely. So now we have this administration again until they prove me wrong. We're going to keep pushing them, and we're trying to get meetings with the new HHS appointee. They seem to be, a little bit more reasonable, and see what kind of bullshit they say. And then when they fuck up, I will be right there on Twitter and just tearing them up, just like I did the previous administration.
Exactly.
I'm not going to stop. It's just a matter of what's fair and what's just and what's accurate and what's science-based. And don't dispute people like me and you guys and the people that are watching that actually quit smoking. We're here. We're not anecdotes. We're not. We're proof that this product can help you quit smoking. So the minute you dismiss me as a citizen. You dismiss me as a citizen of this country if you don't believe that I quit smoking with vaping.
Yeah.
So, and we'll be out there, fighting the next one that comes along until he.
And Murphy, for those that are worried about Murphy, he's not guaranteed. He's not guaranteed to get in there. He was a little hairy to get in the first place. So we'll see if he makes it through a second time. So.
Yeah, I say eliminate that position anyway. There's really no reason to have this guy dressed up there like he's some fucking general that went to the war or something like that. Yeah. Getting on every fucking TV show like Jerome Adams was. Jerome loved the camera. He loved going on, Good Morning America and Jenna and Hoda and all this other fucking bullshit. He loved the celebrity aspect of it. And he lied every time he was in front of the camera. So there's no reason for that position. That position hasn't held any merit for the last 25, 30 years. So, just eliminate it and save some money anyway.
Yeah.
I need to give that money to somebody that really needs it.
So what kind of recipe you want? What are you craving?
So, I've told you my profile. I'm into citrus, pineapple-y, mojito type vapes, and then I like any combination of cooling agents. I like menthol, I like Culata, I like WS-23, I like eucalyptus, I like whatever, ice cubes. I love cold stuff. And Jennifer made me a recipe which I really, really like, and I use a lot. Apparently she puts a disclaimer on it like Dimitri's crazy, don't put that much in there, because I vape at 12 milligrams as well too. I vape a higher milligram, but that's the way that I really enjoy that sensation that I get in my throat, because that reminds me of a cigarette, like the burning in the throat. So
how many gallons of methylated green peach tea and a K-Fund have you vaped?
yeah, you remember that? I vaped that forever, right? I vaped methylated green peach tea for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, the teas. One day I woke up and it just didn't taste good to me. I think like one little sensor in my mouth that was blocked from smoking all those years decided that day to open up, and I mean it happened overnight. I mean, no bullshit. Because I vaped it for 2-3 years straight, and just one day I woke up, it didn't taste good. So, because I hate it, because I really like that liquid. So that's what I've been vaping now. I've been vaping like a mojito, and then I've been vaping what I called Phil Busardo's PPTers a la mode. That's the name of the liquid. It's like a pineapple, raspberry, WS23. I don't know what else it has in it. It has a bunch.
Now, you guys have like a liquid line with like you and Matt and Phil or whatever.
So we created this line back when all the salt was the hype everywhere, And again, listen, I don't have nothing against salt nicotine. I really don't. I just I think that people forgot that salt nicotine was created. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it one more time because people always think that I'm hating on salt nicotine, but I'm not. Salt nicotine was created to be able to put a high level of nicotine in a very small device that's underpowered and deliver nicotine to your body without the harshness in the throat. Okay? This is the reason why salt nicotine was delivered. It was not created to flood the market with salt nicotine because it was the next hype thing. You put 20 milligrams salt in a tank that we make, you're not going to get a good effect. It's not going to work because you're not going to have the delivery of nicotine. You're not going to have the throat hit, which a smoker desires. It's one of the reasons why these little shits don't work. These little disposables, for people that are trying to quit, don't work. They're there as a dual use device. If they can't smoke, they're going to pick this up. They want to do it indoors and stuff like that. I have nothing against salt nicotine, but the truth is that salt nicotine, when it came out, it overtook the industry. Again, I'm talking about that period of 2016 to 2018, where you would walk at any vape shop in America and you would not find over 6 milligram liquid. They didn't have it. 0, 3, and 6. They said, we have no demand for 12.
Yeah, forgot about the smokers.
Absolutely. And then they put 50. So I was like, hold on a second. You didn't have demand for 12, and now you're selling 50. You know what I'm saying? So, so not to go back to what we were saying. 12 milligram to me is my happy spot, but I also believe in today's devices that between 12 and 18 free-base nicotine is the base for a smoker because it gives them that combination of throat hit and nicotine in the open vapor devices as we know today, okay? Because the device has to match it as well, too. You can't put it in an underpowered device that's vaping, at 8.5 watts on a 2 ohm atomizer and get an enjoyable nicotine delivery. So, yeah, free-base 12 milligram, I think, is where it's at. Up to 18, I think, in today's devices can do the trick for the majority of smokers.
So, Dimitri, fResh made you a recipe. You want to hear it?
Yes, I'm ready.
It's blood orange. 3 different kinds of pineapple, a nice strong raspberry, some sweet tangerine, and a whole lot of WS23 cooling agent.
That sounds like the PP tiers.
Yes, I went ahead and I based it off of Jennifer Winstead's profile. Jennifer Winstead is an amazing mixer. She's also notorious for overcomplicating things.
Okay.
So I did a bit of a simplified recipe. For those out there that want to play along at home, I just dropped the recipe out there. It's called Port of Greece. That's pineapple, orange, raspberry, and tangerine.
Nice.
So it's VSO Blood Orange at 2, Pineapple Lassie by Mullenberry at 2%, Polar Blast by Flavor Art at 1%. That is Polar Blast is it's my favorite cooling agent because you get a cool vape all the way through.
Okay.
So you're not getting anything up front, you're not getting anything out the back, and you're not getting any off taste from it. It's a really, really nice cooling agent. Queen Delicate Pineapple by Mullenberry, Raspberry Syrup by SSA, which gives you a sweeter, more artificial raspberry than the natural raspberry. It matches up really nicely with that Pineapple Lassie. And then Sweet Tangerine by Capella at 1.4.
So now I have to go get all those flavors and try it.
I can put a bottle together for you, my man.
No. I like. I mean, yeah. Listen, I don't like DIY much. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that's not because it's not because for years I never DIY. Not because it just like my shit being made for me. You know, whatever. I found my flavors that I like. I never had interest in it. But once I started DIYing, 6-7 months ago, and I tried it for the first time, I enjoyed it. But to tell me that I'm going to sit here for 8 hours and play around with flavors to come out, there's no fucking way. I just can't do it. It's just not me. But if you give me a recipe and you tell me go buy this shit and put it together, I'll do it. Absolutely.
There you go. I just dropped it in the chat here in our internal chat here for you.
And by the way, we love Jennifer. Jennifer's been on Fresh's show lots of times, and
no disrespect to Jennifer Winstead. None at all. We actually have a term that we coined for her. It's called ferifying because she's the juice fairy. So if you go over 9 ingredients, you ferified your recipe.
Jennifer's a sweetheart. I like.
She's an amazing mixer. And I when I get lucky enough to go on Mix and Vixens and do their little review show, generally her mixes are the ones that I kind of gravitate towards because she's been around forever like me, and she's got those old school habits that I really dig. So I'll go in and she does a couple tricks that make real nice ice creams and things like that. So
but I'll tell you that the DIY community, we said this before the show, but the DIY community reminds me of our community when we started back in 2011, 2012. Yeah. In fact, when me and Phil started to do this DIY, and then we ordered all the flavorings and all that, all the companies that we dealt with, Heartland, I think it was Red Bull, Bull City Flavors. Everybody was so nice and wanted to help. Asked us if we had any questions. Just regular DIYers messaged us and says, "Hey, do you need any help? We're here to help." I was really surprised, and then through my talks with them, I realized how many people they helped quit smoking as well too. So I was really, really impressed with the community, and it's good to see. It's good to have that. And you never know when you guys are gonna have to be activated like the soldiers. I mean, it could possibly happen. We might wake up one day and say, "Hey, we need to get all these DIY folks together, and on a mission, to keep these people vaping." Yeah,
and you guys created quite the stir in the DIY community when you were doing your 2 tobaccos, for the competition.
Yeah, that was really, really exciting. We were glad to be part of that, and we put a lot of effort in that. I mean, we didn't want to take it lightly. There was a big prize for that, but also we wanted to find stuff that's going to help people quit smoking. I actually lit up a cigarette with Phil before we did the testing, just to get the feel, and because it's been so long since we smoked. And we were in Canada at the Flavor Art, and we sent Richard to go buy a pack of cigarettes, and we lit one up in the back thing just to try to get it as realistic. I had the smell of the cigarette in between my hands. Something that I don't miss anymore, but I would reference that when I was going through the flavors. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. We need to do that again, but not with tobacco anymore. Let's do something fun.
I miss seeing Niagara. I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah, man.
Sean Casey.
Yeah, good people, and Flavor Art's a good company, and
they are.
And again, I've met the Mollenberry folks in Europe multiple times, and they're always nice. It's just a different feel, Yeah,
they're very, very good. They've been Mollenberry's been really, really good to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a lot of these companies that we saw. I mean, not really whining, but me and Phil over the years, we helped a lot of people in this industry, when they were starting off, back when me and Phil were very popular. And now they've kind of, turned their nose on the community and on the industry, and, they're doing various things and all that. And it's, I'm happy for their success, but, never forget where you came from.
I agree.
When me and Phil went to shows, we would talk to everybody. We'd stop and talk to anybody. We never snubbed anybody. And even today, when we travel to Europe, it's the same thing. We try to be part of the community. We try to answer everybody's questions, and we try to participate as much as possible. Whether it's a funny thing or whether it's a very serious thing, we want to make sure that we're there. And when it comes to the serious thing, give accurate information. When it's the funny thing, just bring some entertainment and some joy in the industry. So
and what Phil did, he mixed the message and the funny all together
Yeah.
with the vape fellas.
Yeah, the Vape Fellas video. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Good job. He did really, really good job. Very, very happy for him.
I'll taste your juice.
Yes. That's it.
So Dimitri, this is Adam down here.
Hey, Adam.
He's
Nice
our
to meet
he's
you,
our
Dimitri.
resident he's our resident musical genius and the king of strawberries.
Yeah, I think I've seen you. Are you in that group ZZ Top? Aren't you the one of those?
Thank you. I wish. I'd be balling. Woo!
ZZ Top in the 80s, I meant. Yeah, not now.
I do play music though, so it
Awesome.
kind of goes with the territory.
Awesome.
Yeah, Dimitri, I've been following you for fucking seems like years now, man. Just thank you for all you've done for vaping, man. It's
Thanks, man.
super appreciated. Like you and Phil were like two of the first guys I really just regularly started watching, and oh my god, like you guys were just hilarious. The bromance, the original bromance of vaping.
Yeah.
It was just good times, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I
Cheers.
appreciate that. Yeah, our bond is strong, man. The bromance is real. I think a lot of people, I mean, Addie has met us, but I think a lot of people thought it was a stick a lot of times. But we're like that in real life, man. I mean, we bust each other's balls in real life. It's just nonstop.
Seems authentic to me.
And then Phil has this when I sense weakness in Phil, I explode it. You know, I'll find something that bothers him, and he's dumb enough to, you know, show me, and I will grasp onto it, and I will just tear it to pieces. You know, I'm just a pro at that. You know, I have a very dry sense of humor, and you know, it's just jab after jab after jab. But that's what makes it funny. You know.
Yeah, I remember wandering up to you guys,
Just like,
wandering up to you guys in Vegas, and you two could hardly keep your hands off each other. Like it was relatively awkward. I was trying to squeeze in there for a hug, and getting stiff armed.
A lot of people are trying to break into that bond, but you know, Matt Cully's shy, but he's got small lips, so he's not going anywhere. But
True.
But back to the unsalted, because that's what you asked me earlier. I'm sorry, I forgot to even answer that. Yeah, me and Matt, but back when the salt hype came out, we thought let's make a line that goes against that and make it call it unsalted to get people, you know, to draw some attention to freebase milligram, to 12 milligram again. Like our hashtag was make 12 milligram great again. And you know, when we launched it, people were like, "Oh, there's no demand for 12." Now, though,
it's everywhere.
some of these guys that never had more than 3 at their booth at these shows, now they're releasing 12 milligram. You know, again, listen, it's business. I get it. Whatever, do it. But man, give us some credit. You know, give us some. Me and Phil, when we went to Inikin, we brought MTL back. There's no denying that, right? When we released our tank in 2017, the Xena tank, we sold over 2 million tanks in Europe, but we couldn't sell them here in America. They're like, "Oh, MTL? Nobody MTLs anymore, man. It's like 3 milligram clouds, bro." And now look how many MTL tanks are on the market. It's unbelievable, right? So, and I think the same thing with freebase nicotine. I think even shops realize at some point, oh, this 50 milligram is good, but I'm not seeing the customer once every 3 weeks. Because if you're going to sell them a 60 ml bottle of 50 milligram nicotine, well, you ain't going to say they're only using 2-3 mils a day. You're never going to see them back. Yeah. So, plus it's not enjoyable. I mean, listen, again, nothing against that high nicotine for the people that want it. But if you want to enjoy vaping, you need to be able to understand vaping and not make it a task. And 50 milligram nicotine to me is a task. It's like a cigarette. Like, I got to have it. I got to get up and I got to have it. Yep. And people that went from 3 milligram to 50 milligram can't quit it. They can't go back. I'm talking about people within the industry. I'm talking people that make liquid in this industry that were hooked on that 50 milligram jewel pod, right? But that's not what vaping's about. Nope. Vaping is to break free from that and to make it a pleasure and an enjoyment. And to do that, you have to be able to experience. And that range of milligrams is what gives us that enjoyment. I'll put my 6 milligram in my little RDL setup, 35 watts, and I'll take some nice pulls on it. But then when I need nicotine, I'll shift to my 12 milligram. Sometimes I'll get my little pod system that I have 20 milligram inside. But I have that variety, and that's the enjoyment that vaping brings. And it's not a task to me. It's my, my pleasure wheel, if you want to call it that, right? I made it too sexual. I'm sorry. But
there's no such thing as too sexual on my shows.
This is a task. You see people fiending get
Yeah.
50 milligram, and that's not enjoyable. I mean, look, if it keeps you off cigarettes, continue to do it. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with it, but we don't want it to be the only option in vaping, and then make it into I have to wake up and I have to take a hit off this. That's not what vaping's about.
So the next time we meet, I got to hear some of these old stripper stories.
Oh, I got tons of those, buddy. But these are old, by the way. That's what I'm gonna say. It's pretty these are old.
Yeah, most of them clubs are probably closed by now.
But no, I mean,
the
listen.
ones on Wendover are probably still open.
Listen, we even fairly recently, a couple of years ago, we went to a Strip Club World, one of the shows down in Florida, and a bunch of us, we had a bunch of people from the vape industry. We went into the strip club, and it was a lot. It's fun, more than anything. It's not so much about the fact that you went to a strip club. It's just going and having a good time. We're all adults here. Come on, I mean, we're over 21. I'm assuming because we're all vaping, right? So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Hey, Fresh, where would you start VSO Lime at?
VSO Lime's it's actually a relatively mild lime, so 1.5, 2, somewhere in there, depending on what you're trying to make. I was surprised. I was really surprised that it was actually as mild as it was. But
I'm thinking of a watermelon mojito. Watermelon mojito. How do you feel about spearmint, Dimitri,
I like spearmint.
as a cooling agent?
I don't know if it's going to get cool enough for me, but I like spearmint.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of strawberry. That's why I have quite a few tried good strawberry mojitos, but I'm not a fan of the strawberry. It's a little bit too sweet for me. I don't like too sweet. So, but I haven't tried really. I have the Sublime, which is like a lime mojito that I vape all the time. But I haven't really ventured much past out of that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think a nice watermelon lime mojito with spearmint and a little bit of cooling.
What's a good flavor to make mojito with, though?
Light rum.
Yeah, light rum, 5 VTA.
Oh, okay.
And, whatever your favorite mint is, like fresh mint.
Yeah, I'd probably
Flaggy
use
has
one
some nice mint.
One of the VSO mints, yeah.
yeah, VSO has that real nice mint, just straight mint. That SSA garden mint is a really, really good one.
Yeah, Capella's spearmint is a classic, but still good.
So, I did a classic mojito.
Oh, let's hear about it, Larry.
BSO lime at 1.25, VTA light rum at 2.5, VSO mint at 1, VSO sweet at 0.35, and citrus drink 5 fruits at 0.75.
Good call. That
Nice.
citrus drink 5
Nice.
fruits is really good.
Yeah.
Good call, Larry.
I'm gonna be broke after the show. But that's
I've been accused of that, Phil. Or Dimitri, sorry.
no problem.
I
I
was
will
Wednesday.
bookmark
You'll
it.
take a Phil? But
I was
yeah, I've been accused
accused
of
of it
making people go broke.
I was
like-
accused of it on Wednesday.
I would love to find a good. I think on this particular Sublime, I think if I'm not mistaken, guys, I've been vaping it since 2013. I think at VaporCon is when they released it, but because it kills coils, I think one time we're drinking
what
and
flavor's in it.
They use that. No, they use that eucalyptus in it. I've had other people try to replicate it and they can't.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they use something that's like a eucalyptus oil that you're not supposed to vape oil, but it's
Organic.
Yeah, it's I think it's something like that gives it this, that strength. I mean, it's strong. It's really, really strong. But man, 2-3 days, your coil is toast. I mean, you open it up, it looks like like the bottom of a railroad yard. It's black, but it's so delicious.
Adam,
It's
shake
just
it
like a
already.
cigarette to me,
I got inspired.
But I would love to find something like it. I'm telling you, I will try. I will make Larry's recipe, put it up there, and I'll get that stuff too.
So what'd you do, Larry?
The mojito.
No, the recipe itself, my man.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
What was that vape convention in Niagara Falls? Didn't they have like a wrestling ring set up?
Fucking
in there.
I don't know. Was that there or was that Texas?
I think it was Niagara Falls.
It might have been Niagara. I mean, some of these shows got out of hand. You know,
Oh
we
my
gotta
God.
admit. Look, it's fun and all that for vapors. It's all good. But I mean, me and Phil at some point got. I mean, you know, me and Phil can party, man. We won't back down. But but I think there's a place for that, and then there's a place to do work, and I think that some of those shows got really out of hand. Then there was a show every week at some point. You know, it just got too much. I would like to see regional shows like they used to be. I mean, we used to do our Cynic City Vapors Club here in 2013, I think it was, or 2014. We had 600 people. So local meet, right, at a hotel, right? I would like to see to go back to that. We had the table set up where people can sit down and help other people. Smokers that came in, we gave them kits and they sat with vapors and they talked. And then have, you know, maybe 3 meets a year, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, you know, 3 big ones that people can go to, and that's it. But then it got to the point where there was, you know, maybe there was 2 shows every weekend at some point, you know, and it just got, it was too much. And so everyone was trying to top each other, just like the liquid industry, right? I want to do it bigger, I want to do it better. And then they again shot themselves in the foot. I remember when I used to buy 30 ml bottles of a 12 milligram for $24.99. I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
Right? We vaped higher nicotine. Obviously, there was higher resistance back then, so you didn't use that much liquid. 2-3 mils a day, 4 mils a day on a bad day, right? But literally, this was liquid gold. And then what does the industry do? Okay, well, now I'm going to make a 60 mil. Well, now I'm going to make 120 mil. Now I'm going to make 170 mil. Now I'm going to make a half a gallon for $12. You know, it was just like, I mean, the decimation of this industry, and the barrier became so easy that they came in and they just destroyed this industry. Nobody would keep MSRPs. People were selling, you know, their products from everywhere. And I think that is part of it. One of the reasons why structurally we weren't able to retain some of the profits to be able to invest it into the protection of the industry as well too. Because every other company, every other industry does it. I mean, you know, the NRA does it, the alcohol industry does it, the beer companies do it, the tobacco companies do it. They allocate a portion of that money to go into the defense of their on a political level, at least of their industry, and we just couldn't do it. This year for me in Tennessee was the hardest year. Every year since 2014, when we formed the TSFA, I've always had no issue with money. Right, I've always budgeted a year ahead of time. I always had the money a year ahead of time for the lobbyists for the next year, for the PAC, for the PR firm, and all that. This year, it was tough because at the end of the year we were barely breaking even, and I told my vendors, I said, this is gonna be tough for next year, you know. But thankfully, we had a lot of really good companies down here in Tennessee that stepped up and funded it for the next year. But I got worried. Because without money, I mean, everybody praises me for Tennessee being completely, you know, no laws that are bad here, but it's not me. It's the people that have funded me for the last, you know, 7 years that have accomplished that. And the businesses in Tennessee that are part of this association are the ones that need to get credit because they allocate funds from their profits to protect their business. I'm good. Yeah. I mean, I'll toot my own horn. I'm good, but I'm worthless without no money. I can go talk to any politician if I don't have money behind me and I haven't, you know, donated to their PAC, or if I don't have this strong association with so many constituents in their district. If I don't have the #1 lobbyist team in Tennessee that represents the TSFA as well too. If I don't have them on my side, they're going to say, "Oh, you quit smoking and vaping? Good job, boy. Now get the fuck out of my office," because that's exactly what's going to happen. So yeah. Man,
Kind of like what we have over here in North Carolina.
30 mil, man. Those were the days. People made tons of money.
Fair warning: if you mix that, any booze vape that I do will be booze forward.
You mean it's going to be more top heavy on the booze?
Yes.
Is that what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like some booze with your mojito? No, wait, other way
We would
around.
like some mojito with your booze, yeah.
No, I tried everything.
It's in the Zoom private chat. There's a couple recipes in there.
Yeah, it's like here in North Carolina, you know, Sherwin Mena, he runs the North Carolina Vaping Coalition, and you know, we have a lobbyist group in Raleigh that keeps things, you know, under wraps, and it keeps Josh Stein, the Attorney General, in line, and keeps Cooper, you know, out of our pockets, and and they do a good job. He does a thing once a month at his shop in Raleigh. It's like a meet and greet, and James Joyner, I think his name is. He's our lobbyist in Raleigh, and real bright kid. I met him over in Greensboro when Ron Peoples opened up his shop. They had a meet and greet over there, and that's like, I know here I can sleep at night and not have to worry about waking up tomorrow and seeing some crazy flavor ban or something here in North Carolina because of those guys.
Yeah, absolutely, and it takes money to do that.
Oh yeah.
One can only think, what the fuck happened in California? There were 3,000 vape shops in California at some point. Every major manufacturer of liquid was in California at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't put a number on it, but I have to say that the California vape industry was probably revolving around between $250 to $300 million a year.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a big industry. Imagine if they were taking 2-3 million of that and put it in California in 2015.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can only wonder what the result would have been if we had done that. And I specifically remember in 2014 when we went there for the ECC, which was the beginning of the downfall of the industry, was that show. But when we went there for the ECC, I met with a bunch of shop owners and liquid manufacturers the day before ECC. And I think it was about 15 to 18 big names. I'm talking about, again, it's going to go in the book. I don't want to, piss off people now, but big names in the industry. And we sit down and we said, look, if I can do it in Tennessee with a budget, at the time, my budget in Tennessee was $60,000 a year. This year, it's $100,000. So that's the difference, over 7 years. Not a lot of money. I said, if I can do it in Tennessee with $60,000 a year, if you guys put a couple $1 million down, hire a couple big lobby firms here in California, you're going to get ahead of the game. And make your own laws. I was telling them, because they had a lot of money, I didn't, but I was telling them at the time in 2014, pass your own bills to protect you now, and you don't have to defend. My budget is to defend. That's all I've done. And this year I brought a bill in Tennessee, the first year we brought it last year, but COVID, nothing passed. But bring your own, and everybody was like, yeah, let's do it. Everybody was like, hype California bullshit, and then ECC happens and everybody goes back to midgets and throwing bottles and strippers and cocaine. And, I mean, it's just like, and then no talk of, again, this is reality, folks. This is documented stuff. I don't make shit up. I have screenshots that could fill a book, I mean, it's unfortunate, but imagine what happened. You say, and then what happens? People start fleeing California. Like, okay, well, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to Vegas and set up shop. This is the answer. Like, I'm going to leave my entire facility in California and go to another state because the bad law passed in California.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, from 3,000 vape shops, they're down to like 270 vape shops. And it's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yep, just getting ransacked every other day.
Yeah.
Well, I remember one of the companies in New York, I think they were in Rochester, and as soon as things started going south in New York, they're like, "Oh, we're coming to North Carolina."
Yep. Yeah, Mount Baker Vapors notorious for it. Like the second there was a bad law threatened, like they took off from Washington to Arizona.
Yeah,
then they got down to Arizona and got shellacked.
Yeah,
so.
And this was a company that's never said word one about advocacy. They've had shitty packaging since day one, and I mean they're everything is wrong with the industry.
You're talking about bad drips, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't give a shit. I told you, I don't give a fuck. I won't say it like it is,
It's
the truth. Their packaging was shitty.
Yeah, the prescription bottles and all that crap.
Absolutely.
And then they said, "Oh, we're coming to North Carolina." It's like, well, they never made it here. I think they stayed up in New York. I think they were still able to manufacture, or they went somewhere because I still see them around. Their stuff's so damn sweet and full of crap anyway. But
yeah, it's depressing. I found a picture on my Google. We used to use a lot of Google Plus at the beginning of vaping. It was just out. There was a lot of
Google Plus was fantastic for vaping.
Yeah. So I happened to look in one of these folders, and I didn't know it keeps some pictures inside there. And I found a picture from 2013, I think it was, and I had like my collection of liquid, and it was like 30 bottles across, all just plain labels that just said what was in it, the name of the company, and the milligram. Like there's no distinguishing. it never. I mean, the label never enticed me to quit or start vaping.
Yeah.
It didn't bother anybody back then what was on the label. I don't really think it bothers anybody right now. I think that the labeling takes it to that extreme where we are drawing attention to ourselves, and we are drawing initiation to it. You know, so I get the marketing and the branding of it to a point, but man, it got out of hand. It really got out of hand. Bad Drips is just one example of myriads in this industry that were really IP infringing. And putting out products out there that don't represent our industry in a good light, and that drew a lot of attention to us as well too. It's hard to defend, Captain America on a nicotine product in any state capital, and I've had to do it, and I can't do it. I mean, there's nothing I can tell him to say. Well, okay, it's nostalgia, or adults like a Captain America too. I mean, there's nothing really that you can say to defend something like that in a political level. And we gave him all the ammunition.
Yep.
Like you look at one, it looks exactly like a Mott's apple juice bottle, and it's like,
yep.
What are you gonna do? You can't do shit about
apple
that.
liquid. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that shit.
But also they were smart because they used the influencers. They were paying people to promote this shit on Instagram. Then Vapers started defending it as well too. Because it was their favorite liquid, and Vapers kept buying it. So I mean, we're just as much to blame as they were. But I mean, they had a really good marketing tactic. But at the same time, I didn't see an outrage. People were defending it, calling it nostalgia, calling it, well, I like Fruit Loops too, which is true. I like Fruit Loops as well too. I like Cocoa Puffs. I like that as well too. But I would never put out an adult product like with nicotine inside. I mean, we have nicotine. I know people understand that it has nicotine in our products. I would never put that label on there. But yeah, I think that that's just the way it was back then, and it went on for a couple of years where people made a lot of money, right? The money was coming in left and right for shop owners and manufacturers as well too. Because don't forget, shop owners were selling the 60 ml bottles again for $25, so they were buying $8 wholesale, so they were making hands over money fist, and it was great for a couple of years until. Now it's not, and now the vape shop has turned into a catch-all model where you're going to go inside, you're going to find CBD, you're going to find Delta 8, you're going to find Kratom, you're going to find combustible product, you're going to find flower and CBD flower and pre-roll. And again, I have nothing against those products. I'm for adult freedom. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, they're doing it to survive now.
But your name is, Phil's Vape Shop, and you're selling something that you light on fire in that place that's called a vape shop. Yeah. Right? You see the irony there? And people say, oh, Dimitri, you're an asshole for saying that. And they're just trying to feed their families. They're trying to keep their staff at. No. That to me, that's not an excuse. I have vape shops myself in Greece, and if I can't sell vape, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shut it back down, go back to making pizzas. What I was doing before. You know, I mean, this
the
is
real
the
question
reality.
here. Wait a second, you got my attention now.
Yes.
She said she heard pizza.
Homemade pizza dough. Go. Tell me your recipe. I need a better recipe.
I'll send you one. It's hard to explain. I'm a very good cook, but I'm a very bad teacher. So I'll send you something privately if you want.
I've made several pizza doughs. I just need
proofing is really what it boils down to on pizza dough. It really, the combination of the ingredients is easy. But proofing is really what makes the pizza dough. You have to be able to go through a 3-stage process to make really good pizza dough. And so you have to have patience. Well, you roll it, let it rest, cut it, let it rest, open it, right? And then let it rest. So that could take, overnight is actually best. You start the process one morning and then finish it the next day when you're going to cook it for lunchtime, for example, or for dinner. But the longer that you let it proof, the better your pizza dough is going to come out. And a lot of people rush it. They'll make it and then open it up, put it in the pan, and it doesn't work like that.
No, I started pretty early in the day, and then I just let it go for the next day. But I think I used too much yeast in it. So when you said you make pizza dough or pizzas, I'm like, oh, I need to sharpen these ingredients down.
You use dry yeast or active yeast?
Active.
Yeah. Dry yeast is actually not, it's probably going to work out better for you. Believe it or not.
I might have tried.
Yeah.
Active. I've tried so many different.
The pizza flour that you're going to use, again, you can get something that's ready-made that has everything inside. But we add a little bit of buttermilk to ours. We add some eggs to ours. We use butter inside. So I mean, yeah, we used our pizza in the restaurant. We used our pizza dough for calzones, strombolis, breadsticks, and pizza. All this the same dough. So it had to be,
I want your
had to be
recipe
really,
for that
really
dough.
good. Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind, that is. I would love it.
I'll send it to you. If you open a restaurant and you sell a bunch of them, just give me 10%.
There you go. Perfect.
No, I'd just be cooking for myself because
If people say that they want that New York water, and I just don't. I'm not buying that. I'm just not buying that, man. Can't believe that Jersey water is going to be better than Tennessee spring water and pizza. Unless
Maybe not in pizza, but you're talking about like hoagie rolls now or cheesesteak rolls. There's something about the water up there or the air or something.
Cooking is not that. Yeah, obviously. I mean, I like a good Italian beef. You can't do that with bread down here in the South.
No.
It falls apart, right? But that has to do with cooking it. I don't think the water's holding the bread together, so it doesn't.
It's something that creates that crust on the outside. That
I'm calling fake news on that. I'm putting my conspiracy theory in. I'm gonna send you a YouTube link to disprove you.
I live too close to Domtar and Eastman chemical plant to have decent water.
If anything, New York water probably has a lot of bacteria, and it's bad for you. Maybe that's why the pizza dough is because that bacteria is building into that pizza dough, making it.
We got the Great Lakes, baby.
Oh, we might get Spidey powers from our water now. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, guys, I gotta head out. I gotta work in the morning.
That's
All right,
probably
Larry.
a good time.
Nice meeting you.
That's probably a good time to call it anyway, Larry.
Thanks,
So
Larry, and I'm gonna
make
try
sure you
to
drop some links on the way out, brother.
I've got it bookmarked. I am going to be ordering tonight all these ingredients.
Have a good night, guys.
Well, I'm sure
Hi,
you're
Larry.
discount coded.
I might make it tomorrow, Fresh.
Hope
Perfect.
so.
I think we're doing toast
guys.
tomorrow.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
How do you do a boozy toast? I guess we'll find out.
Oh, I'm sure he'll have 17 recipes before he goes to work.
He's already thought about it.
Boozy
Yeah,
jam. You can make like a fermented boozy jam for his toast.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
A bourbon jam of some sort to go on his toast.
Like a bourbon peach jam or something.
That might not be
Apricot,
bad,
maybe.
Use
actually.
the SSA forest fruit. You get the real nice fermented fruit in that.
There
Wait a
you go.
minute, he might still be watching. Stop giving him ideas. I want to see the deadliest
He's
mixer.
got 5 recipes already.
Yeah, he had 5. He had 5 recipes before he left the room, Larry.
Yeah, but if he
Second
hears
fresh
this,
set
then he's
toast,
gonna
he's
have
like,
like 70.
Yeah.
No, I said 17, not 70.
No, I'm saying with
bad.
us saying what we're saying, we're gonna add his list up to 70.
Yeah, this is true.
All right. So, all right. Let's start with DTF. What you got going on tomorrow night, my man?
Well, tomorrow's the 3-year anniversary of our mixing show, so we're
God
going
damn.
to try to bring in some people and have a good time and hang out and get nostalgic and cool, Adam.
Is everybody gonna make their first recipes that they made on their on the show's debut? Like,
Oh, I should
Oh,
go back and
Thanks
look
for
for
giving me
my
ideas, Loom.
daytime whatever recipes. that
so
I
whatever
made.
recipe you first made whenever you made your show, you have to mix it. Any guest that's been on your show, they have to mix their first recipe that they ever made when they joined your show. Boom.
I have one called
Say how much garbage it is.
Yeah, right.
I wish I had the new ingredients back then. Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of TFA and Capella and
Yep.
some Minowera, maybe some flavor.
Yeah.
I'm an idea factory. Just come to me anytime you need one.
Cool.
All right. So, Lumi, what ideas are you dropping when you do your next WoW stream? Oh, I put her on the spot. Come on, Idea Factory.
I'm always doing something random. It's just whatever I do on Twitch, it's just pretty much me winging it. Like, I'll make like this small list of things that I need to accomplish throughout the week before reset. And then I start to do them, and then I veer off, and then I start doing other crazy shit. Like, I told myself I wasn't going to go ham into the game, this expansion. And already I'm planning mythics and rated battleground groups. That's as high as you can get in that game, so.
So much
I have
for the
issues.
plan. Yeah. All right, so everybody, yep. Did you drop your links out there, Lumi, so people can find you?
All right. There's a link to my Twitch, my Discord, aka Fresh's Discord. I kind of just turned it into this little Freaky Fresh and Friends Discord, really. So
Yep.
there you guys go. If you want to look at braids, Lumi stands, Lumi braids, my streams, want to partake in the Fresh from the Kitchen homework, it's all right there.
All right. Thank you. Toonie.
Freshy D, thanks for having me on, brother. I love you.
Love you too, brother.
Dimitri, it was awesome catching up. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
on.
man.
I'm glad the girls are all doing good. And we'll catch you guys for some tasty mixing tomorrow.
All right. Adam, what do we got? What do we got, man?
So while we were sitting here, seeing Dimitri reminded me of an old video where him and Phil were vaping some Hurricane vapor. I don't know if you remember them, Dimitri.
Yeah, that's a while.
They had a papaya milkshake that was delightful.
Yeah.
You guys actually inspired me to buy that back in the day, and I hadn't had that in a long time, so I actually made a papaya milkshake, and I called it Hurricane Dimitri.
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome. That's cool. Drop it so I can make that too. Fuck it. I'm definitely gonna be broke tonight.
Will do. Yeah, other than that, I'm gonna drop a link in YouTube chat. That's my band's music video. I would really appreciate if you're out there and you haven't watched it, give us a thumbs up, give us a watch, give us a comment. We love it. We love it.
Watch it on replay so they get the extra view time.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
just all day. Yeah, and then Golf Tea Vapes Wednesday nights at 9:30 Central. We are here on the YouTubes doing the Cloudy Bunker podcast, and we have loads of fun mixing up and talking shit, talking vape, talking movies, talking video games, talking pop culture, talking everything. So yeah, come hang out with us, and then find me. Just Google my name, you'll find me. Thanks for joining us, Dimitri, and thanks for having me, Fresh.
Thanks, Adam.
Love all you guys.
My pleasure. Love you too, Adam. Sam, nothing is final until I type the title of the show. So I will always consider other ideas that come into my head for what we're doing tomorrow. So you'll know when I send a message and say, "Hey, this is what we're doing." So, all right. So we don't have to do toast. I've heard we're over toast about 6 times since I said that. So we'll do something else. Too bad, Larry. Too bad.
Scrap all those ideas.
Scrap all your ideas.
He's probably asleep by now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do my thing real quick, and then we'll give the last word to Dimitri since he is our special guest. It has been too long since we hung out, brother. It was, I really enjoyed having you, man. I had a really good time chatting with you. Got some good mixes, and yeah, next time I see you in person, more hugs, man. More hugs.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of the old days. You know, the first time that I met Addy in New York, the guy came up to me. You know, I've never met him before, and he had a K fund that he had done. You know, discolored, and just gave it to me. You know, I mean, this is what this vape community is about. Yeah. I'll never forget that. Like stuff like that through this industry in this last decade that I've been in it. It's these friendships that you've made from people that if we didn't quit smoking, I would have never met you guys if I didn't quit smoking, right? And likewise for you guys as well too. So no matter what happens, mostly bad, but good, bad, you know, tough times in the industry, tough times in the community, the drama that goes on as well too. Everything that we go through and rotate, you know, when squonking comes back, when mechanicals come back, and that vicious cycle that we're in, always remember that, you know, we still have this, you know, friendship that we have created and this community that we have created, and everybody cares deep down inside, and just take that and try to utilize that as we're moving forward and trying to survive against these monsters that are coming after the vaping industry. So love each other. And yeah, thanks for having me on. It just reminded me a lot of the old days, so I really appreciate that.
Dude, I love it when you're able to make it onto a show, because it really is just having good conversations about all the different aspects of vaping, and it really is. It reminded me a lot of the old school, how it used to be, and the wild west as it was. But you know, the wild west couldn't last forever, and you know, vaping as it was couldn't last forever. It had to evolve, and we're seeing it take place. So we'll
Yeah,
see where we
and
go next.
Remember one thing, like all these years, I have vaped some shitty ass juice. You know, I have tried some stuff that's like, you know, made in the basement, made in the bathtub, made, you know, in somebody's car. I have vaped some shitty ass stuff over my decade of vaping, and I haven't died. If that does not tell you how good this product is for you versus cigarettes that is out there, like even the shittiest liquid will not kill you, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as well too. Vaping is by magnitude safer than smoking, and spread that word around to your friends and to your family, man.
I agree. So everybody, be beautiful to each other. Educate, advocate, be good for this community. We'll see you on that next one. Who gets the pleasure? Adam, I haven't asked you in a while. Can you stew me out of here?
For sure. So, everybody out there in YouTube land, as you go throughout the rest of your week and your days, be nice to people, especially during this crazy, messed up time. Wash your damn hands, wear your damn mask, and get off your butts and vape.
Bye.
And it's Friday night. Little bacon grease.
Bacon grease, masturbate, ejaculate. We out.